Hello and welcome to the Lunar Review. I'm your host Vanessa, and today I'm going to be talking about the symbol of Yin and Yang and exactly what it means. So I think most people are familiar with the symbol, the circle with the squiggle down the middle that breaks it into two halves, and there's a little dot on each side. So the darker color represents Yin and the lighter color represents Yang. And although they are in an oppositional relationship, and we say that yin and yang are opposites, I just want to be clear that there is not a struggle or competition or fight between yin and yang, that their relationship is always striving for balance. And when you see the two little dots on either side of the yin-yang symbol, that is a very important concept. That is the fact that each side contains the seed of its opposites. The yin-yang symbol just opens a whole can of worms, because even when we talk about, well, what does opposite mean? What exactly is this concept? Because when we first learn about the yin and yang symbol, we're told that they are opposite yet complementary forces, that they're two seats on the same seesaw. But when you actually dive deeper into the subject, you realize that they're not exactly opposite. They are first relative to each other. And there are many different factors that determine the degree that something is yin or yang. So we have vibrations and energy and particles and all those tiny things that make up our universe. And they behave differently at different times. For example, physics will tell us that light is both a particle and a wave, which is just amazing because they're so different. A particle has weight and substance to it, and in theory you can hold it in your hand and throw it around and throw it at someone and bounce it off the wall, whereas a wave is ethereal. It has no weight, no substance. Where is it? You don't really know. You can't pinpoint it. It's somewhere over there. It's the thing that carries energy. So they are completely opposite. Yin is the particle and yang is the wave, and yet they turn into each other under the right circumstances, thereby proving that each side contains its opposite. When yin and yang reach their maximum state, they transform into the other one. Seamlessly, effortlessly, they make the transformation. So this can be seen every day, every few seconds with our breathing. When we take the in breath, the in, that's a very yin motion to go inward and downward. And then when our lungs are full and our blood has received the nutrients, then we are ready to expel the waste products. So the breath comes up and out, which is a very yang motion. When we're running, just as fast and as hard as we can, and we're sweaty and we're overheating, we reach a point where we become completely exhausted. Our resources are completely used up. So at that moment, you go from a very yang state to a complete yin exhaustion, and you might just collapse on the floor and curl up in a fetus position, because the front is yin. The back is yang. Although the front is what propels us forward, the front is also the most vulnerable side. So when we're feeling insecure or sick or unsafe, we'll go into the fetal position, because the back is yang and it's harder and it will protect the yin side. And water. Water to me is almost a magical element. Water is just incredible, and it perfectly shows the forces of yin and yang. We all know that when you apply heat to water, you get steam, which is yang, and when you apply cold, you get ice, which is a yin state. And there's another example I was thinking about that's interesting, that during the day when the sun is out and it is a yang time of the day, we see these seeds of yin in shadows, the play of light and dark. We see shadows, and yin is less bright, it's more dim, it's cooler. So therefore we have the yin within the yang. And then consequently, when we look up at night into a dark, deep, velvety sky, we can see shining stars. Often we can see the moon. So here we also see the seeds of yang are infusing, a very dark yin world. So all the examples that I'm using is in an effort to teach us about the universal laws, to understand the rhythms of the universe and the properties of natural phenomenon. And this is in a hopes that we can align ourselves with it and that we can live more in harmony. This is what the Taoists would call living according to the way. And it's just very evident that adaptations, constant change, these flawless, seamless transformations are an intrinsic part of life. And we can think of yang as a seed. And, when it's a seed, it's a tough little thing that can be bounced around and thrown around and nothing's going to happen to it. But then once that seed is planted in the ground and starts to sprout up in a yang upward fashion, once it breaks through the ground, it's no longer in that tough little shell, and it's actually become very vulnerable, and it's entered a yin state, because yin is softer, yin is less mobile, yin is more delicate, and from that state it will go on to become stronger and become thorny and maybe have strong bark and become more of a substantial plant. And then after that, it's going to reach a point where it stops growing and developing, and it will start decaying, dehydrating, and crumbling and going back to the earth. So you can see how life is a series of yin, yang, yin, yang, plus and minus, plus and minus, plus and minus. So the big takeaway from today is that transformation, transitions, metamorphosis, change, this is all absolutely relentless. This is life. This is the basis for life. And when this change stops happening, that's when we say yin and yang are starting to separate. That yang is starting to return back to heaven, and yin is starting to go back into the earth. And when they fully separate, that's what we call death. And I just have to wonder, when does the final death happen? When yin and yang completely separate? Because the decay of the body continues long after the soul has left the body. That fingernails grow, hair can grow, the body is providing nourishment for creatures and for the earth. So I have to wonder, when is the absolute final point when yin and yang separate? Is it even in this dimension? Well, thank you for listening, and this is a good time to end because now the sun is almost down here and I'm getting cold. So I'm going to sign off. Thank you for listening, and I will be back again. And if anybody would like to book a reading with me, please go to my website, thelunarreview.com. Take care. Till next time.